Hey listeners, are you thinking about starting your own podcast? Well, do I have the app for you? It's called Anchor. Anchor will get you out on Google Podcast, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify, and many others. Not only that, Anchor will find you sponsorship so you can get paid. That again is Anchor.fm, Anchor.fm. Welcome to another episode of Abe's Front Porch Talk. Have you ever heard of a skinwalker? Well, if you haven't, let me read to you what a skinwalker is. And now, this is what I've pulled up online here. And I've been seeing stuff on YouTube and other documentaries, about skinwalkers here and there. So I decided to pull this up and read about skinwalkers. And I thought this was pretty good. So, here we go. Skinwalkers, evil shapeshifters, are a mainstay in Navajo tradition and legend. Although the Navajo tend to keep their culture to themselves, and indeed consider it dangerous to speak openly about the mythical creatures with outsiders. Some of the eeriest facts about skinwalkers have managed to creep out into the culture at large. These are some of the freakiest skinwalker facts we found. So it goes on in order here from number 1 all the way down, I think, to like 10, 9 or 10. So, I may not be able to cover it all tonight, but I'll save it for tomorrow if I can. But let's just go over a few here. Number 1, skinwalkers are actually known as witches in Navajo culture, and they used to be humans. Now that's a scary thought. Sometimes I know some humans, I wonder if they really are witches or not. But to be a skinwalker, I don't know. They could be skinwalkers. That might be why some of the people I know are so ugly. I don't know. I've even called some of my friends witches because I believe some of them are. But, I can't prove that they are. As far as I know, they haven't never casted a spell on me or put a hex on me, I don't think. And if they did, I'd never know nothing about it. But that's kind of scary to know that they're also known as witches. That is scary. I think next time I'll talk to my friends, ask them, are they skinwalkers? Be like, instead of a witch, are you a skinwalker now? It's no telling what they'll come up with and tell me then. So, number 2. Yeah, they want your face. Some traditions suggest they'll steal your very skin. Skinwalkers can transform into any kind of animal, including you. Well, there's 2 things right there that I see wrong already. Don't steal my face. I need my face, but so far since I've looked into the mirror, it hasn't cracked yet. But you ask my friends, they'll tell you something totally different, so that's why I call them witches. So, there you go again. But can you imagine out in your yard at night and a skinwalker comes up and takes your face? Ew. I wonder what they do with your face after they get it. I just wonder, do they try to put it on their face and try to cover up the one that they have? Are they not happy with the face they already stolen? So they have to steal somebody else's face? Did that one they decide was just too ugly, so they decide they want somebody else's. Ugh, something to think about there, folks. Be careful when you're out in the yard at night, or when you turn your lights off in your house and you trying to go to bed and sleep. You might have one of these things, and they might just come up and try to claw your face off. Huh, who knows? And then after they steal your face, they can, or it don't say that actually, it just says skinwalkers can transform into any kind of animal, including you. So I'm wondering, do they turn into you, transform into you after they steal your face, or can they just do it without your face? They just get a good look at who you are, and then they can just transform themselves into you. That might be where some people's got some evil twins at. I'm only one of me, and I can only deal with myself, so I don't think I want something else like a skinwalker turning into me, because I don't even know if I can handle looking at my own self. I already fear the mirror now. Every time I go to the mirror, it seems like I see something different about my skin, and I'm only 37 years old. And that shouldn't even be happening. So can you imagine if a skinwalker can transform into a human being? Can you imagine this thing taking form of a relative like your grandma or grandpa, and you think it's them, and you go up to them and they done stole your face? And you're trying to figure out why your grandma or grandpa is trying to steal your face and harming you like they did. And if you survived this and was able to talk at your last breath and you say, Grandma or Grandpa stole my face. Well, Grandma and Grandpa have been with me the whole time. How could they? That would be a horrible way to go. Thinking your grandparents stole your face. And then you find out they was with them the whole time. And your last breath is, don't you believe me? I mean, come on. This is kind of crazy. I wouldn't want this thing taking any form of my family members, like cousins or brothers or sisters, and any of them. I mean, my Lord, the world can only handle one of them anyways. I don't even know if a skinwalker would want to turn into anybody in my family. They'll probably be like they're too crazy anyways to even do anything like that. They might think they're too mean. A skinwalker saying, they're too mean for me to turn into them, so I'm just going to bypass them and go on somebody else. Because I'll tell you what, I've got family I wonder about, that if they ever die and they didn't make it to heaven, they went to hell or something. Sometimes I wonder if the devil will return them and be like, we got enough problems down here without them. And just give them right back to us. It's like, come on now. See, even the devil don't want you. That should tell you, we've been trying to tell you, change your ways for years. You know. So if you got family like I do, and a skinwalker turns into one of them, you got some double trouble. Let's move on here. Don't even think about looking at a skinwalker in the eyes. That's how they absorb themselves into your body and then control your every move. Oh, wait a minute. So, if I stare one down into the eyes, they can basically possess me? Is that basically what you're getting out of that whole paragraph? Because it says they absorb themselves into your body and then control your every move. So basically, they possess you. And so, if they're not stealing your face or turning themselves into you or an animal, they can actually possess you and just take over your whole body and make you do things you don't want to do. Things you never would even dream about doing. Boy, this gets very interesting. Very interesting here. You know, I don't even think I could stare one into the eyes unless I froze. I see one and just freeze right there in my tracks. But to be honest, if I ever did see a skinwalker and I stare at it into its eyes, I was frozen. And to be honest, I'll probably be so absent minded or trying to figure out what this thing is, I'll probably just drop dead. Or I'm going to take off running and I'm going to run as fast as I can. And I'm going to be saying, legs, don't fail me now. And be my luck, that thing will be chasing after me. And then it's going to be trying to steal my face. Ugh. Since it couldn't possess me or anything, because I wouldn't stare at it long enough in its eyes, I finally come to my senses and took off running. And how do you stare one in the eyes? Would you not be so scared that you pass out or maybe just have a heart attack and die one? I mean, what do you think? That's pretty weird. So, number 4 says, the Navajo tribe is notorious for not talking about skinwalkers to outsiders. They are frightened of supernatural repercussions if there's too much discussions. Well, if it ain't trying to steal your face, and you're not trying to stare it in the eyes so it can possess your body, then these people are so scared to talk about it. Must be something true to this. And I believe there's a lot of things in the supernatural that we really don't know about. And if they used to be witches at one time, and now, you know, skinwalkers are actually known as witches in Navajo culture, and they used to be humans. So, it's a witch that just took forms of humans and my lord. Sorry, I was kind of jumping the gun there. I was reading the next paragraph. But these folks are so scared, they're afraid if they talk about it, this skinwalker will appear to them. Try to stare them down in the eyes and possess them, and if it ain't going to do that, it's going to transform into them, or it's going to steal their face. Maybe even while they're asleep at night, it comes up and just steals their face while they're asleep. It might not want you. Number 5 says, though it's scary to think of them as humans, skinwalkers are seen most frequently as wolves, coyotes, foxes, eagles, owls, or crows. Be careful the next time you stare down a wolf. Now that says a lot right there. I mean, you just told me up here in number 2, the paragraph number 2, that it can transform into any kind of animal. And you're telling me in paragraph 5 that these animals it can the animals it can change into, transform as, but not only is it transforming as the animals, but it seems like it can transform as birds. Eagles, owls, or crows. Now I know every time I see a crow, I can just look out for bad omens to happen, because I know something is fixing to take place, and I know crows are there to tell you, hey, something bad's fixing to happen. You ever watched scary movies where a crow appear and then a person sees a crow and all of a sudden something bad ends up happening, like something from the supernatural, like a skinwalker will appear, or they end up dead themselves? And next time I hear an owl hooting out here in my yard, I think I'll just be leery of that, of a skinwalker. Maybe it's a skinwalker hooting as an owl just waiting to devour and take my face. But owls are supposed to be wise. But some people do classify owls as being evil too. I have heard that growing up. And then some says they're wise. I believe owls are not evil. I believe owls are wise, because that's why they're called wise old owl. Wisdom. Eagles, I couldn't tell you. I just know you can soar like an eagle. But the skinwalker might transform itself into eagles because of the eyes being pretty sharp. And I bet if a skinwalker transform into an owl, it's because if you ever notice how an owl can turn its head, so it might need to transform into an owl so it can turn its head into so many angles. And you know, an owl can almost turn its head, looks like all the way around its shoulder. And then, so that may be why I do that. I'll keep that in mind. I just don't want to see no more crows. I know that. Because honestly, I am, every time I see a crow, I can look out getting bad news. It's either going to be in the same day, or it's going to be a few days from then after I see a crow. So, there you go. Well, this is all I got for tonight's podcast. I'll finish the rest up tomorrow night. And thank you for listening to Abe's Front Porch Talk. You have a good night.